1 point will be awarded to the apprentices at the time of assessment. Multitasking skill, the objective has been defined. 10 skill subsets codified with MTS 1 to MTS 10 has been defined, and during the assessment the trainer will try to find out how many of these skill subsets have been developed in the apprentices, and based on the number of skill subsets developed in the apprentices, the points will be awarded at the time of assessment accordingly. Now let us go to the technical skill. As we all know, the technical skill program formulation and its implementation has been left to the training establishments. Therefore, it will be the training establishments to formulate and implement a training module structured in line with that of the general attributes. Now, this is a general guidelines that has been provided for the training establishments to prepare their own training modules for the technical skills and implement the same. The establishments are to formulate and implement module for each identified area of specialization. Now, number of areas of specialization can be many, and they accordingly, based on the identified number of areas of specialization, number of training modules, structured training modules will be prepared. However, any one of the apprentices can be provided with the opportunity of undergoing or selecting areas of specialization to a maximum extent of 3. Now, having a comparative study, this particular slides will give you a light on what exactly new model is different than the existing model. In the new model, we can see that the assessment is more standardized based on the defined skill and skill subsets under general attributes, program for technical skills to be formulated by the training establishments. Once the training starts, the trainer as well as the apprentices are well aware of the objective of the different skill sets that is required to be developed, the content or the skill subsets that has already been defined that needs to be developed, so that it will be easier for the trainer as well as for the trainees to move ahead, so that the requisite skill sets are developed at the desired time, within the desired time frame. Now, the first assessment in the new model will take place in the beginning of the first quarter itself. This first assessment will be called as entry level assessment, and the subsequent assessment, that is the second, third and fourth assessment, will be again at the end of the second quarter. The third assessment will be at the end of third quarter, and the fourth assessment will be at the end of fourth quarter. However, before assessment, the date of assessment, the training establishment will inform the apprentices or the trainees the schedule of their apprentices, so that a level of preparedness may also be done from their level at their end, as well as during the assessment, the apprentices will also be knowing that the assessment sheet subsequent to assessment will be shared with them, so that they are fully aware of their performance during that particular quarter. And in case if the apprentices is informed that their performance or their results in the assessment has not been satisfactory, or there is a skill gap still available, there will be subsequent time available for the apprentices to improve upon their skill requirement. And in the new model, we can see that after the completion of the fourth quarter assessment, based on the recommendations, automatic generation of the certificates will take place, because the quarterly submission of the progress of the apprentices' performance will be done either through skill assessment form in the manual way to be submitted to the regional boards, or it may be required to be uploaded through the national web portal. Therefore, within no time the apprentices will be able to get their training certificate of proficiency as well as skill assessment sheet once their training is over. Now let us quickly cover the methodology. The assessment, how the assessment will be done. The assessment to be conducted on quarterly basis. The assessors to be nominated by the establishments. A committee of assessors not less than 2 members, one of which not below the rank of manager, to conduct assessment. So these are the certain guidelines that have been provided for the training establishments to formulate at their end the assessment system. The establishments to inform apprentices about the assessment schedule in advance and share the assessment result also. Establishments to take necessary steps to develop the skills further for such apprentices, securing less points in quarterly assessment. Because for them the next quarter will be an important time available wherein they can develop or they can further fill up the gaps that is being carried forward from the previous quarter. For development of each skill subset, 1 points to be awarded on a scale of 1 to 10 at the time of assessment, as we have already discussed in the previous slides. The skill assessment sheet duly validated by the establishment for each apprentice to be submitted to the regional boards, or it would be required to be uploaded on web portal on quarterly basis. A proposed proforma of certificate of proficiency has been displayed here, and this certificate of proficiency, apart from have a mention of the general information about the apprentices, there will be a place whereby whether the apprentices has completed his or her training successfully or not will also be recorded in this certificate of proficiency. And this certificate of proficiency will also have a information that the detailed information about the extent of development of different skill sets is being mentioned and in a separate sheet called skill assessment sheet. Now this is one of the proforma that has been proposed for issuance to the apprentices, trained apprentices, along with the certificate of proficiency, and the name of this proforma, which is a supplement, which will be supplementary to the COP, is called skill assessment sheet. In this sheet, apart from the general information about the apprentices, we can see that the 6 skills under general attributes have been mentioned here, and in front of them there is a place available for awarding points in 4 quarters. So for each quarters, the points earned by the apprentices will be recorded, will be awarded here in this box by the assessor. And after 4 subsequent quarters assessment, this certificate will be complete and will reflect the performance of the apprentice stretched over a period of 1 year. And the final extent of final development of these skills in the apprentices can be easily observed from the points that will be recorded in the last quarter of the assessment. And here we have got under the technical skills category, there are 3 places for recording of 3 areas of specialization, and accordingly there is a place for awarding points into that. These points will be basically from 1 to 10 on 1 to 10 scale, and accordingly the training establishments will be forwarding this information on quarterly basis to the regional boards, and the regional boards will subsequently issue on behalf of Government of India this skill assessment sheet along with the certificate of proficiency to help the employer as well as the trainee to know the extent of skill development in that particular apprentices. Now quickly covering the expected outcome. As we have already discussed most of the expected outcome portion, the first and most important is the standardized assessment and certification. We all know that in the absence of no guidelines available, no specific defined objective as well as skill sets, it was not possible to have any level of standardizations among the skill development as well as the assessment and certification. However, in the new model, this standardization, assessment and certification has been possible to a large extent. More focused approach by the apprentices during training to acquire skill development that happens to be benchmarked with the best practices. Then the new model is expected to help the apprentices in identifying areas of skill deficit and to improve upon them. The new model is also expected to help the employers to identify the apprentices with this requisite skill and offer them employment on the basis of a skill assessment sheet. Or further, the availability of better skilled and benchmark apprentices for domestic and international job market will also be ensured. It will help in identifying and encouraging entrepreneurship traits in apprentices as per Startup India mission of Honorable Prime Minister. And it will also help NAT's National Apprenticeship Training Scheme in building its brand. And my friends, I think with this particular slide, I have already shared those informations about the newly developed skill assessment and certification system. But before I end, I would like you to go through quickly what two of the important trends, one Mr. Kripa Ram from JRSE and one of Mr. Mihir Sen, the CEO of Infosys, wants to share with all of us. Please have a look what they want to say.
So the apprentices were provided with a certificate of proficiency after completion of their training with no mention of skills they acquired during the training. This system of certification did not reveal any input value that was acquired by the apprentices. Therefore, the new skill assessment certification system of the apprentices would help the establishment to consider him/her on that basis for a meaningful and gainful employment.
The establishments often search for the appropriate persons to be suited for their environment and work so that they can increase their productivity and value. A skill assessment certificate of apprentice would help the establishments to find out the right person who will fit into their million.
Thank you very much for your patience here. Thanks a lot.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Firstly, I would like to thank you for your participation in this event and also thank the board members, BOPD and Ministry of HRD for being present in this occasion. Thanks a lot. My name is Balaji Raghavendran. I am from Cognizant Technology Solutions. And I am going to present to you about re-engineering of NAT's portal or move towards real-time people system. Cognizant takes pride to be associated as the implementation partner for this digital transformation journey of the National Apprenticeship Training Scheme report. The journey towards digital transformation is a result of a big, hairy, audacious goal for being digital to digital being. It all began with the integration of 4 regional boards portals into a unified NATS portal, marking the first milestone towards digital being. Now, this presentation is aimed to give you a fair idea of this journey. We started this, as I said. The current portal incubated the capability of being paperless. For example, all the stakeholders like students, establishments, institutions were given capability of enrolling online anywhere, anytime. A workflow-based capability was rolled out such that a student right from his enrollment till receiving his certificate of proficiency of the training could do it with ease. That's important, right? I mean, because we are coming out of this paper work towards a paperless work, and that's real digitization. So this was the first step towards a journey of being digital being. Similar capability was provided to institutions and establishments. For example, again, establishments were able to enroll, record progress of the apprentice, and get stipend reimbursement through a structured workflow-based methodology. Let me move to the next slide, where we will talk more about how our journey started from doing digital to being digital. See, that's the second step. So, what we envision here for being digital, make a larger enhancements, revamp the enrollment process, and giving an enhanced interface between establishments and students. Okay, so the student enrollment is now rule-based, and BOT and BOPD verification can be done. I mean, the details can be verified by the authorities. and lifecycle management is at ease. So these are the key features that has been enhanced in student enrollment. Coming to establishment enrollment, again we have made it as a rule-based enrollment, and most important, the document capture during enrollment is now made easier. Inspection report is now built in, so this brings in a lot of transparency in the entire system. And without saying, the cross-region officer verification is also enabled in this particular enhancement. And coming to the interface part, it's extremely important that the student, the establishments, and the institutions, they are all connected, right? I mean, we provided this feature in our first rollout, but as we move forward, we enhance this feature in such a way that a direct interaction or an interface between the students and establishments were established, and employers had easy access to verified candidates, means verified talent. The employers need not spend time in terms of verifying the authenticity of the candidates, right? So this is one feature that has been enhanced with the interface module. And most importantly, to make this scheme very successful, right? I mean, it requires a larger reach. So this version of the portal that we have released is aimed to increase a wider base for job advertisements. And institutions similarly is role-based, and students upload made it more easier. So these are the major feature enhancements that is being done from the first set of version and what we are releasing now. Now, what makes our journey complete to from being digital to digital being? So it's a very significant transformational journey that we are talking about. All we did right now till date is doing digital, moving from doing digital to being digital, and now we are moving towards digital being. So what makes us say that we are digital being? First thing is, enabling this portal omni-channel means web access, mobile access, anywhere, anytime. Provide a very rich digital user experience. Strong social presence for awareness, which is very important, because we aim to take this portal to the most remotest of the remote villages. So that's a key here. So the entire success of we saying that the portal is digital being, it is about the success of the reach. And finally, analytics to drive adoption and effectiveness of the scheme. The idea here is to make conscious decisions based on data and not perception. So, with that said, our journey to being digital, from transforming from being digital to digital being is now ready to be embarked. Well, take a pause now. Let you ask some questions. If not, I can move to a sample work for player creation where we can talk about how easy a contract creation has become now with the introduction of this portal. So, the first screen that you're seeing here is about an establishment searching for a student, right? So, the search can be made very easy. I mean, there is no specific set of rules or anything. The search can be made on any criteria. It can be a single criteria or multiple criteria. So, the establishments have that feature of selecting the candidates, and the candidates gets listed, and there's a list of candidates that you see here, and select particular candidate. And one interesting thing that you can notice here is this particular fields that we have introduced in this version. This enables the capability for an establishment to add the candidate's employee ID for their better tracking. Every establishment wants or aiming towards operational efficiency. So getting this employee ID tagged in the contract creation process, right, helps them to bring in more operational rigor, and which is what this portal enables establishments to do that. And that has been a very highly welcome point for the establishments and a big demand from them. So we are ready now. So starting a journey from being digital to digital being, and with this, I'm concluding my presentation